Hi guys, and welcome. I am Enigmius, and this is episode 1 of the Ultimate Feed the Beast Reloaded series. Brand new mod pack means a brand new series. That's right, our Direwolf 20 world has been mothballed, and we're here in a brand new world carving out room for our main facility. Now, while we're doing this, I'm just going to let the cameraman do his thing. I'm just going to kind of explain to you what I've done with the mod pack, which is very little, but I'll go over it in detail, so if anyone has any questions, people will be in a position to answer, and also kind of talk about what I have planned for the near future with the series. There's a couple of projects that I want to get rolling with as soon as I have the infrastructure to do it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So first of all, like I said, it's the Ultimate Pack. It just came out. It was ideally the pack that I would have started with however many months ago when I started doing Feed the Beast content, but it took a while before it was available. So what I've done is I've given myself a little bit of leeway to spawn in certain items and pretend that I've migrated from my previous facility over to this one. Now, by the second episode, the next episode, I will have come up with a list for myself of things that I want to spawn in that I brought from the other facility, and then that'll be it. I don't want to get in the habit of spawning in everything because I can't be bothered to spend the time. I don't think that sets a good example for what's possible. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not starting over because I felt the urge to start over from the beginning. I'm starting over because I finally have access to the pack that I wanted from the beginning. Now, this is the Ultimate Pack, and it's the Ultimate Pack with Greg Tech disabled. In addition to disabling it, I've added Optifine, the most recent version. I don't remember exactly which one it is, as well as the Sphax textures that I've been using for all of my Minecraft content, and Camera Studio, which is the mod that allows me to do this nifty third-person time-lapse video, which I find is really, really neat for doing builds and large-scale things of that nature, where watching it from the first-person perspective just gets really tedious after a while, but being able to watch it from a broader perspective adds a certain amount of interest. So that's what I'm using and will continue to use anytime I'm highlighting a structural element of a build. And that's really all I've done in terms of changes. I haven't modified any other config files or anything else of that nature. I'm just working with what the Ultimate Pack gave us minus Greg Tech and some tweaks for the appearance and performance. Now, in terms of what we're planning on doing, what I'm planning on doing with this series is obviously I have to get this facility built. And one of the reasons why I'm carving it out of a mountain instead of building it out of nothing is because you never actually build out of nothing. If I wanted to build a freestanding structure, I would first have to gather the materials, and then quite often I have to reprocess the materials, whether it's cooking cobblestone to make stone or, you know, whatever it ends up being. There's time and effort involved there. And then there's the building itself. And I would rather kind of, first of all, it's nice to do something different. You know, carving the facility out of the mountain, we'll show you a little bit later. We'll go outside and take a look at how it's going to look, especially at night with just that one block line of glass lit up around the outside, and then everything else looks completely natural. So there's that, as well as saving a whole lot of time. Now I've got this main floor going in. We're going to take a walk through in a little while and see just how large it is. It's pretty massive. So what this means is that I can excavate as I need more space instead of taking an enormous amount of time to build something and then start putting in the infrastructure after the fact. Now, when it comes down to the infrastructure, I'm going to try and move away from the industrial craft power, the EU, not because I dislike it, but because I feel like doing something different. One of the early plans that I have is I want to get as many wind turbines into place as I possibly can. Now that means I'm going to have to turn the swamp outside into a flax garden of some sort. I'll have to farm up the materials to get that established the hard way, which is not too bad. Once we get it up and running, the goal will be to get 4 quarries into place underground so that they don't mutilate the landscape. And then once we get those materials rolling in, then everything else becomes a lot easier and we can start on some of the more interesting projects. So one of the first projects that I plan on taking on that'll be different from anything that I've done in the Feed the Beast series so far is the next iteration on the Mega Turtle, which, if you haven't seen the video, is a large-ish cube made with red power frames that uses force fields to mine with transposers to pick up the materials that are mined much, much faster than a quarry, something that you can move in all directions, not just the one direction that you often see with the tunnel bore concept. And just kind of fun to mess around with. Computer controlled, you can just tell it you want to go a certain number of blocks in a certain direction, and it goes, and then you can tell it to go the next direction. all kinds of crazy stuff we can do with it. I've done one before. There's a video on my channel called What Mining Turtles Grow Up to Be. If you want to go looking for that, it's kind of neat. I want to improve on it, and that'll be probably, like I say, our first major project after we get the basic infrastructure into place. And then after that, I think we're going to jump right into the Mega Creeper build, because people who are watching my Tech It series got kind of shafted on that one. I was about 2/3 of the way through the build on my Mega Creeper, and first of all, the client decided it didn't want to run that world anymore, and also we migrated to Feed the Beast. So I want to do that, take everything we learned from that, and put it into a new build. We're going to have a 40-block high creeper walking around the world that can spit TNT and do all kinds of crazy stuff. It should be fun, or it'll be a mess, one of the two. And from there, the sky is really the limit. There's a lot of stuff that's been added compared to the previous Feed the Beast packs, that it's great to see diversity, and I'm almost to the point now where I feel like adding any more would be simply too much. There's only so much that you can use at any one time before you start adding like this one mod for one block out of everything that it offers, and then you add another mod for a sword that it offers despite anything else. We're getting close to that point in terms of the number of mods that we're adding. So I want to kind of take a look at what all of the new-ish mods bring to the table and see how they might fit with various different projects and themes. But for the time being, I want to stick with what I'm familiar with and just improve on it, get back into the groove, get into the building sort of thing again. And then we can start taking a look at broadening our horizons and doing new things with new things, so to speak. So that's the short-term plan for this. Like I say, probably the next 1 or 2 episodes are going to be focused on getting this facility up and running. Just the basics. Like I say, you're not going to see me excavating this entire mountain. I don't think that would be fair to anyone, not the least of which being me. But we'll just get that into place. We'll get the blue electric power generation into place, and then we'll start in on the cool, nifty, fun stuff. And I do already have some plans for some things that I want to do structurally with our main facility here, but that will be done as we have the resources available. I don't want to put myself in a position where I get spread too thin again and can't keep up with any of my projects. I'm just going to try and keep my focus narrow enough that I can get things done in a timely fashion and then move on to the next thing. But I think it could be pretty neat as things evolve and I get those little snippets of time to make changes and additions to the main facility. Eventually we will be in the Nether. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another full-scale Nether facility. Let's face it, the Nether is a scary place in vanilla Minecraft with all the weapons and armor and tools and things of that nature that we get in the tech mod packs. It ends up that there's nothing really threatening in the Nether anymore. It's just a lot of dark and a lot of red and a lot of lava and not a whole lot of anything else. So I'd rather, set up an interesting looking Mistcraft age and do some crazy stuff in there than, try and commit to any particular length of time in the Nether for doing anything more than farming for materials that we otherwise can't live without. Now, believe it or not, we're almost done with the excavation here and just the getting the beginnings into place. And one of the things that I realized as I was running around back and forth, getting all of these 2 layers hogged out, was that it's claustrophobic. Just these 2 layers, the roof seems like the ceiling seems awfully low. So I decided to use the Vajra to as quickly as I could, clear out a couple more blocks above. So the ceiling will be 4 blocks high at this point in certain areas, and get some lamps into place and just see how it would look. And it gave me an opportunity not only to play with the Vajra, which I don't normally use because it's so bloody expensive in terms of energy, but also to do yet another time-lapse, only this time with silly music. And here we are live and in person in our main facility, as much as it is right now. Everything is better with silly music. I swear, anything is better with silly music. Now, I'm going to do the quick run through just to give you an idea of the size of this floor, so to speak, to see how much room that we have to work with as we need to expand out into the facility. And we're going to measure the size in chicken legs consumed from our hunger bar as we sprint from this corner all the way to the one over there that you can't even see because it's out of range. So here we go. We're already missing 1.5 chicken legs. So let's see what we get by the time we get all the way around there. All the torches that I'll someday reclaim when I replace them with lamps. I've still got a little bit of patching left to do on the floor, but for the most part, we're ready to start putting in infrastructure. So that's not too bad. 1 full chicken leg to sprint around from one end to the other. And yeah, I mean, I can't ever imagine running out of interior space. It's just a matter of adding to it, excavating down. We're at level 99. So that's, yeah, it's a ludicrous amount of space. You can see here I've got the lamps in place. These are the cage lamps, inverted cage lamps, so you don't have to wire them up. They're on unless they receive a redstone signal. I really like them. Nice view. Anywhere I am, I can look outside, see what's going on. Right now we know it's raining. That's why it's all misty off in the background. And I specifically chose this world. I think this was about the 6th one that I generated because this is where I originally spawned, as indicated by the spawn marker in the redstone taiga, however that's pronounced, because it's different. You don't see it unless you've got extra biomes XL installed. So that's kind of cool. And then out here, I think that's a witch hut down there that eventually we'll probably have to obliterate along with all of the contents. And down there is the swamp bog that I was excavating all the sand from to make all the glass for the facility. I've got rubber trees down there that I can start converting into saplings to do a proper rubber farm. And I'll probably end up filling in a lot of this water with dirt so I can get flax planted and all that other stuff, like really, really quick and dirty infrastructure. Like I say, I'm not going to spend a phenomenal amount of time on it because I don't want to. And then it'll be all about the tech infrastructure. I'm just going to eat because that went awfully fast. Then we can kind of take a look up here again. So if I were to set up wind turbines up here, I would be at level 121. So I think what I may end up doing is kind of coming up with some sort of tower, very short tower kind of thing, and then continuing it all the way along the top here, but keeping them level. So the towers over here would be relatively short, and then they would get taller and taller as the mountain sort of gets lower and lower, so that if you look at it, they all kind of a little bit more uniform, sloping down than straight across kind of thing. And then from there, we can get onto the interesting project. So it's not a ton of stuff that I have to do. It's just now getting down to the mining, which I don't necessarily mind doing in small batches with the mining laser. But once we get the blue electricity going and the quarries in place, we'll basically be set up to do whatever the hell we want. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to get down to some frame projects. I've been itching to build some things out of frames for a while. I hope you're excited to see them, and I'll do my best to explain them as I go so that you can try similar things in your own worlds. So this has been episode 1, The Ultimate Feed the Beast Reloaded. Leave your comments and feedback below. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys.